Reseller Clickbait Podcast, episode 91. Morning,
Tim.
Cory. Yes. Man, we sound a little bit more bright and chipper than what we should be. It is a time
I
change.
don't know about that. I'm feeling less bright and chipper. Today was tough.
That's Cory, by the way. Cory Grams Pops. I'm Ken, SSKPromo. It's a time change.
Time
Sunday.
change day. Yep.
This was the spring forward one. To me, this is the harder one to do, where, you get up in the morning and your body feels like it's an hour earlier than
This
what
is
it
the
should
one
be.
I actually look forward to. I think what made it harder this year is I didn't know it was happening until you texted me at like 9:30 last night.
I didn't want to be sitting here waiting for you to show up for an hour.
I look forward to this one because it always feels like you gain a little bit of time to get stuff done. And I always feel like I need more time. So this one is the one I like. But yeah, it hits harder when you don't know it's coming.
Yeah, I've heard about it all week. My mother is just like, my mother gets furious. My dear sweet mother uses foul language every time there's going to be a time change. As you watch the 5 o'clock news or whatever, and the weather guy usually, up on the weekly forecast, and he'll have, that it's time change day, and they'll talk about that. And every single day she's complaining and carrying on about. But no, I like the fall one, the fall back. I think that one's a little easier for getting up in the morning. But I like this one because the extra daylight at the end of the day is.
See, every time I go to bed at night, most days, not all days, but most days when I go to bed at night, I feel like I've ran out of time at the end of the day, and I'm not ready to go to bed. I just know I have to, or I'll be a turd tomorrow. And then I'm usually up early and back at it
That's the
again.
reason. That's the reason. Low sleep. Okay. All right.
Yeah, but sleep. So this one I like because it feels like you gain a little more time back, but it is rough when you don't see it coming and catches you by surprise. And some old fella texts you at 9:30 and says, "Hey, you got to get up an hour earlier."
Well, I apologize, but then also, hey,
I'm glad you did though.
Yay, Ken, for letting you. Yeah, so I go around the house and the clocks, almost every clock. I only have a couple of clocks that I have to actually physically change. Pretty much everything else is, automatic these days. And it's the clock on my oven that always scares me because I only change. It's, the oven has not really knobs that you turn on. It's kind of like all push button stuff.
All push button.
And I'm afraid because I only have to change a clock twice a year. I'm always afraid I'm going to push one of them buttons that turn my oven on. Do the time and then I'll turn and then walk away. And the next thing you know, it'll be the oven's on fire. But crisis
for us,
averted.
it's the microwave. It was my old pickup before I got the pickup I'm driving now. It was my old pickup and our microwave. Those are the two clocks that always got us. And we would usually just let them be until time change came back around because it was going to be right eventually. Well,
Every
my
6
pickup
months,
clock
right.
in my old truck, I don't think I ever changed the clock in. I just let it be right when it was right.
When it's that's right. That's always the difficult one too. I can never figure out how to change the clock on my car. I forgot I have to do that one too. So I have that one and the one I have just a wall clock in the bathroom, and I have to change that one physically.
Teresa, I used to work a job where I travel a lot, and they have this they call it the biggest flea market in America. It's down in Texas, down by Sherman, Texas. Okay. And it's massive. You couldn't hit it all in one day. So one year for our anniversary, I was traveling, so I bought her this sunflower clock because she likes sunflowers.
Okay.
And it's been hanging on our wall ever since. It's been up there for probably 15 years on different places. It's always got a dead battery. It's never right. She never takes it down and sets it. She just lets it sit up there for decoration. So it's always wrong.
So twice a day. Twice a day it's right.
Twice a day.
If you
my in-laws used to come over, or not my in-laws, her in-laws. My parents used to come over, and every time they came over for a holiday or something, they would change the batteries. So it used to get batteries every now and then. Now it doesn't get batteries at all. It just sits on the wall dead.
Like they say, you're supposed to change your batteries in your fire, not your fire extinguishers, your fire.
The fire smoke detectors?
Smoke detectors, yeah. On time change. That's how you're supposed to remember that. But yeah, it was a tough tough morning to get up. And then, okay, to add, not only is it time change Sunday, I go outside, or I get up this morning and I look out the windows and like all the fringes of the grass are all white. And I'm like, what? It's like snowed. No, it's like snow.
Oh, it
must
snow.
have snowed overnight. Yeah, just in the like the fringes of the grass areas. But I go to walk out the door. I go out to my office in the garage, and as soon as I open the back door, there's this big gust of wind, and I just get hit in the face with a bunch of snow that was blowing off the top of the garage. It was like that little pellet, little round balls of snow,
it's almost little ice crystals,
and just blast me right in the face. I'm like, really, I need this when I'm up an hour earlier than what I want to be.
A good Ken Hates Winter segment, right?
Oh
there.
yeah,
so I got that recorded.
I didn't have time. Had I known, I would have recorded it going out the back door. But see, I should just be on. I should have the camera on all the time. Everything I do.
I think that's what successful YouTubers do. They just kind of have a GoPro handy all the time.
There it is. Therein lies the problem.
That might be why we're not successful at this.
I get in and I go, I get my GoPro out and I'm like, oh man, I hope these batteries are charged up. And then I have to charge them up. Or then I'm trying to, film something with my phone sideways or whatever it is.
Never works. The sound's always horrible on my phone and I can't get it to rotate the right way. We tried our first live the other day and that didn't go well.
Yes, it did not. I was wondering. It's like I get notifications for, different YouTubers that I watch and stuff. And I always get a Graham's Plus. For some reason, I did not get or see that you guys had went live. And I only saw it when, then you actually posted the video up. And so, rookie mistake. I'm in there and I've got the comments pulled up. It's doing this live and I'm commenting.
Just live chatting I'm like, in the comments.
Man, yeah, I'm live chatting in the comments. And then, it took me a little bit after, a couple comments like, man, I can't be the only person. And you keep referencing people that were actually commenting in the live. And I'm like, why am I not seeing this? And it's like, I'm watching a replay of it was one of those weeks. It seemed like everything that something kooky could happen.
It's been a strange week altogether. Yeah. With that live, I have like an iPhone 13 or something. It's not a newer one.
Okay.
But apparently when you start a live like this, you can't rotate. It won't let you rotate your phone. And so I was trying to get it stuck in a tripod because I have one of those that you kind of stretch the pieces apart and it clamps on it.
Yes.
So I was trying to do that with one hand and hold the phone after the live was already going. So it's all over the place like this. And then I drop the phone face down. So it just goes black on the live. It was a nightmare, but we got through it.
I was actually yelling at the screen. Would you just leave that damn camera alone? And it's like Cory's fumbling with it and it's falling and it's going black and hashtag. That was one of my comments. Hashtag rookie, rookie live or something like that.
Big time. And, note to self: actually put the phone on the tripod ahead of time
before before you push the live button. Preparation. What isn't there like a saying about preparation
H?
There's a lot of sayings about that. If you are having problems in that way, you can always turn to your dude wipes. They're a cool minty chill.
Handle this in a minty fresh way.
Cool off your backside.
Nobody. There's no instructions really for going live. So when I go live, I'm trying to find the buttons to even do it because I've never done it before. Yeah. And then on the last button before you hit, it's basically, start to go live or whatever. And you figure there's going to be a confirmation or something. There's not.
Yeah. Nope.
So when you hit the button, you're just live. So I thought I was going to get right to the end and then put it in the tripod. And I went live by accident. So then you're just kind of on the spot. You're like, oh, hey.
Yeah, it was
lots to learn in that area.
It was comical for sure in that. So
more for you guys than me.
I ended up abandoning. I gotta be honest, Cory. I didn't watch the rest of the video. I was getting once I figured out that I was watching a replay and my senses had already been bothered enough with all the rattling of the camera. I just abandoned it. So you're not gonna
get a little steadier after that, but the live didn't get any better. I mean, the content was still horrible.
What made you go live? What were you doing that was live?
We had just finished recording 2 videos and packing our orders for Monday morning.
Okay.
And and then a question came in, but a viewer question came in through our eBay messaging.
Okay.
Which was weird, but we figured we didn't get a chance to actually answer the question because it came in through eBay and we didn't see it until that right then. So we figured we'd just go live and answer his question because it was a good question. So that's why we went live. We figured we would just sneak it in quick. There was nothing quick or painless about that live.
Yeah, I had that as well on a comment about last week's podcast. Somebody had sent to me through my eBay store. I'm not sure why they didn't comment on the actual video, the YouTube video, or maybe they were just listening. Well, they had to contact because they found my eBay store, probably through, I would assume, the links.
I suppose there's a little bit of logic to it. I mean, if you're trying to comment and you want to make sure the person sees it and there's somebody that's on YouTube, you think they would definitely see it if it was on their actual business, like their eBay. So I can kind of see the logic in it. Although I think people underestimate how many messages we ignore in eBay.
Hashtag customer
we were glad
service.
we saw it.
Yeah, I did. So I guess I'll follow up with that a little bit. I wanted to, in last week's show, I was talking about a return that I had, and that the person just returned it. They didn't go through the eBay system. They just returned it, put a note in the box, and said that they were returning it for, the one that was like an 8-track tape player or whatever. They wanted to, they wanted a refund on it, but they didn't go through the eBay system. And so, I had called eBay and got some advice on what to do. And so we had a lot of good comments on last week's video about that, but that's also what the comment was that came through my eBay, that they were watching the podcast and they wanted to weigh in on, that situation of the return and what they would normally do in their business. A fellow named Chris, I don't know Chris, but thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. But had real good comments about, the return, which is what I ended up doing. So just to follow up on that, I did return or refund the customer's money.
Yep.
Just kind of, refunded it, sent them a message, basically that I was going to refund it, and gave them a little hint, tip, or suggestion that, next time go through the eBay system. That helps the sellers and will process, refunds and such quicker. And so I did that last Monday, and as soon as the refund processed through, I went ahead and relisted the item because I didn't want to relist it. I knew it would be a quick seller, but I didn't want to relist it before kind of that whole refund was done.
Limbo.
And just get it clear through the system. And then in less than 24 hours on Tuesday, like midday, the item had sold again for the original. They were selling for like $100 for this 8-track tape player. So, pretty much I completed that refund process, gave the customer a little helpful hint, tip, and then resold it, shipped it back out. Haven't heard anything from the new buyer yet. All in all,
it was pretty painless. And you had a box to ship it in already, which made it nice.
Yeah, exactly. And all the packing materials, because the original customer had shipped it back in good good order and packaged it up good. So it was so that situation handled. But just a kooky week.
It's been a strange eBay week. We keep getting. I know we try to average around the $400 or $500 a day sales.
Yeah,
is kind of where we expect to be. And then lately, almost every day we've gotten ready to go to bed and we're at like $80 in sales.
Oh, really?
It's just like all day long eBay is off. But as soon as we go to bed, sales just come in overnight. And we wake up in the morning and we're right up to our average. And I think we've hit our average pretty much every day this week. But when we go to bed, it's like $70-$80. So all of our sales are happening overnight this week.
Huh,
so it's been a kooky week.
People trying to, gear up for the time change. That's what it was.
Is that it?
They were, preparing so they wouldn't have to get up and buy it from you in the morning, an hour early.
Might be.
Yeah.
It has been weird that way.
I leave my phone on, like with the messages and stuff. So if I were to get, all those sales in the middle of the night, or when I do get, it wakes me up with the cha-ching. And so I get, excited not excited. I get woke up. Sometimes I get annoyed, especially when it's just like a little sale. Somebody bought you $4 or $5 item and it's like, and now I'm awake. But it is always cool when I don't hear it and I get up in the morning and you got, 2, 3 sales, 4 sales, whatever.
My notifications are off overnight, so I don't hear them come in. We just find them in the next morning. It's always fun because come 7 o'clock when your notifications come back on, it's ching, 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 and they just all come through at once.
Yeah. Yeah, so, that's
it's always a good feeling, good way to wake up.
Yeah, I pulled a bonehead move. I delivered my packages. A lot of times if I just have a couple of packages or so, I take them over to this little postal store right around the corner that accepts USPS and UPS and FedEx packages. And well, I guess this is kind of a combo to another story I was going to tell, but anyway, I forgot to label my packages. Went out, it's on the garage. I prepped my packages and stuff. Yeah. I got the packages ready. That's and I had them setting there. It is very important. Now, had I taken them to the post office, I would immediately notice because I take everything up to the counter and it's like, oh, there's no labels on these. But I took them over, dropped them off in the bin, went home and went about my day. And then I realized
I'm really curious. Was this like you just had a ton going on that day and you got distracted, or was this an elderly thing? Like, how do you forget to label your boxes?
Just momentary lapse of reason or something like that. I'm not really sure. Yeah, no, I didn't. It was just pretty much.
That wasn't during one of our phone calls or something. I wasn't distracting you, was I?
Well, I did have something on my mind that I was going to bring up. And so maybe that was part of it because I was prepping for something. Well, I think I'm going to go down as far as new stuff happening and reselling. I'm going to go down the Whatnot road. I think I'm going to start selling on Whatnot. Been kind of watching that, seeing some of the other people in the community. Of course, Whatnot's nothing new. Everybody's been doing it for a while, but I've always been one of those in that category of. Well, okay, let me start over. I was a little bit disgruntled with Whatnot for quite a while. Just basically when it first came out and everybody was excited and everybody was pitching, everybody was talking about it, and I had went in and used somebody's code to get in there and filled out my application and stuff. But that was like when it was first new, and Whatnot was being very exclusive to who they were letting in. They wanted big, high profile channels. But I'm thinking, I'm the DOG, of course. Well, I'm not the DOG. I just have delusions of grandeur that, yeah, they're going to accept me, and I filled out all the stuff and gave them whatever. And then I basically wasn't accepted at that time. And I was like, really? So that was a little bit disheartening. And
so did they actually reject you, or did they just not answer?
I just didn't hear anything. And so, and I didn't follow up because then I started to watch everybody. When Whatnot first started, everybody was, starting stuff at $1. And there wasn't a lot of the shows, even the bigger high profile folks, didn't have tons of people in the shows. And it was just new to everybody. And people were basically just giving stuff away. They'd started at $1. $1 starts and everything would sell for $1, or $2 or whatever. So it was a great time for sourcing on Whatnot at that time. Cause you could get a bunch of stuff for cheap. And so I ended up, here I am. See, I'm brainstorming like live, trying to come up with my story here. It was, and then, then it got to seem like, why would I take this inventory that I have and sell it for a fraction of the cost of what you can get if I were to list the stuff? And that was also Whatnot kind of has that mystique of, it's just a place where resellers go and dump off all of their bad inventory that's not going to sell on eBay. But I've been watching more. I've been following some folks.
It does kind of have that reputation.
Yes. But as I've been watching more, a lot of, friends and people that I follow, either YouTube folks or just people that I met through watching the Whatnot and stuff. And Jill is basically addicted to Whatnot right now, as far as buying and and just watching the shows, because it's like a selling social media platform. It just, you interact with those people, and the community over there is pretty cool. There's lots of cool people.
So is this a ploy to win Jill's attention back, or is this this just a platform you actually enjoy the social part of?
Yeah, that's it. I'm just trying to, rekindle my relationship with Jill, and the only place I can get her attention.
You can just sell her all her stuff back that she gives you. You just sell it back to her.
And she'll keep buying. That's funny. That's actually probably because
it's a great business plan.
You know what? Actually, if I want to get a hold of Jill, a lot of times I just go on to Whatnot and see what show she's actually watching right then. And then I can go into that room and say, hey, Jill, check your messages or something like that. But no, I decided I love that social media aspect of it. Just talking with some folks, doing some things. And I think my wanting to do that again, and we've talked before about all of my eggs are all in the eBay basket, and that's where I make my living off of that stuff. But it's good to diversify, have another stream or another form. We've talked about cross listing and stuff like that if I'm going to go out to other platforms, Macari or Poshmark, any of those other ones. But I thought, Whatnot is right up my alley. I love to be live and be social and do that sort of stuff. And it just seems like,
hey, you're kind of a social butterfly. It would be a stretch for me, but I can totally see you doing it because you have that kind of personality. Me, I'm still not there. Like, it would take some pretty drastic personal changes to get me on Whatnot, probably.
Yeah. And then, you and I have had discussions about if that's a good business model. Can you make money on Whatnot? Talking with folks and seeing things. There's some people that have went full bore into Whatnot, and although you can make good money doing stuff there, it still pales in comparison to what you can do if you were full bore on eBay or one of the other selling platforms.
We've talked about it a few times, and I still struggle not seeing a business model. I think I can see the path to make money on Whatnot. I can see that pretty clearly.
Yeah.
Is it sustainable and is it scalable to a size that we would need it with the effort you have available to put into it? And I still haven't found that for us. Not to mention, it would also be the most miserable way in the world for me to make money is getting on a live show and trying to hawk goods live. Like that would, I couldn't imagine a worse way for me to try to make money. Like I would be miserable for every second.
Yeah. See, and I think that's the part of it that I'm going to enjoy. And I have realistic expectations of it. I know, you've got to build I don't currently have tons of followers on Whatnot. I think initially you're going to get friends, you're going to get family, you're going to get folks that are going to come in there and see your show and just help support you and maybe buy a few things just to kind of support that. But once you get past that, 2, 3 shows, 4 shows, whatever that is, it's going to then it would be a grind to build that community. I'm sure there are some folks that are just overnight successes and people that have really big high profile channels. It's easy for them to promote that. Hey, I'm going to be doing a show, and thousands of people are already seeing that. I have a very low following.
It's just like eBay too. Everybody's circumstance is different. If I didn't need what we need to live on, and I could do it at a much smaller level, then Whatnot, it could be a very viable option. Yeah. I just haven't seen. Now, I will say I am intrigued by the different business models that I've seen on Whatnot, like card breaks and stuff. They're doing something a little different. It's not just go down and grab everything that's dirt cheap and half stained and ripped from Goodwill and throw it on Whatnot. It's a completely different type of business model. That I'm intrigued to see different styles of sellers.
Yeah.
The jewelry sellers and the card sellers and things like that. So I think it'll be cool to watch Whatnot just to see how it evolves.
Yes.
And eventually there's going to be a million different business types, just like there is on eBay. There's people doing different things on eBay. There's people that sell just cars. There's people that sell just clothes. I mean, there's a lot of different models. So I think Whatnot will be neat to watch evolve. I just don't know that live selling will ever be a Grams and Pops staple. I just don't ever see that becoming a thing.
I don't know if I can see it being very addictive too. Just being on there and live. If you are a social person, whether you're addictive as a buyer, that instant gratification in 15, 30 seconds of I got to get this, I got to bid. I've watched a lot of different folks. There's a difference. You got to make somebody feel that they have to have that. I call it like the QVC effect. You gotta pitch that product in a short amount of time and make people feel that they can't live without it. And
we were thinking about that. Just the other night, Teresa and I were thinking about it. Some of our favorite people to buy from at garage sales and estate sales and stuff are those crazy ass QVC ladies that have no self-control.
Yeah.
And in 15 years, some of the favorite people to buy from are going to be those crazy ass Whatnot people that have no self-control. Like, there's a reason it's still around. There's a reason it's here in Whatnot form. It's an addictive buying situation.
We should have just
there's something about
flashed hashtag Jill, hashtag Kacherka on the screen there when you said that. Yeah.
Now I'm not going there.
Well, and we also talked a little bit too about a few shows ago about your buyers. Are your buyers your customers? And how you get your buyers to be your customers, and then ultimately how do you get your customers to be your fan? Because if you have a fan, they're going to be more than likely to buy from you or to support you.
Because when somebody buys from you on Whatnot, they say I bought from Ken on Whatnot.
Yes.
But they bought from Ken. It's a lot different than somebody saying I bought it on eBay. So yeah, that's in one aspect that they are your customer, and you can use that customer, not use that customer, but you could leverage that relationship for future sales.
And I think I'm intrigued by the whole sourcing aspect of going out and sourcing for Whatnot. I think originally when people started to do the Whatnot, it was those items that they were pulling off of their shelves or pulling out of their inventory or out of their death piles that maybe didn't, was the lesser quality stuff to try to get rid of it at, I'm going to move this along because it hasn't sold. But if you get into that mindset of people of sourcing for the Whatnot shows, and although you're buying these products that, you probably could sell for more on eBay, more long tail, you can sell them at a lesser cost. Again, once you get established in your channel and you have a good following and you can have good shows, that it was, you are getting less for it than you could on eBay, but it's instant. You're getting that money right now. You're turning those products over.
I don't get that argument. I don't know. If people make that argument, I don't get that. I don't get it at all. If somebody said, I'll give you $2 today for something that's worth $10 that you can have in the next 2 weeks, as long as it's a good product, why would I take $2? I've never understood that argument. Now, I get it if it's a bad buy and it's not going to sell in 90 days or something. Yeah. If it's going to sit around for a year, take the fast money and take it now. I've never understood somebody saying this is a good product. It would sell on eBay. It's just going to take up to 90 days. I'd rather have 1/10 of that money today. Yeah. To me, that screams horrible business decision. I don't get that argument.
I can see that aspect of it. I have talked to a few folks about that, and it depends on, I guess, what you're using the Whatnot for. If it is your full business model. I mean, I know a number of people that have jumped in their full bore Whatnot, and admittedly,
we're talking about sourcing. I am really interested to kind of keep an eye on Whatnot and see if because I'm going in the complete opposite direction of the Whatnot model as it is right now. The Whatnot model, the way it stands now, is, I wouldn't say universally, but for the most part, people are trying to source items that cost next to nothing, as cheap as possible, so they can afford to lose money on them and sell them off cheaply and quickly. So it's a volume model. Yes. And I have always been the one to go the opposite direction of that. I want to sell one thing for $500 not 500 things for $1, because it takes me just as much work to pack, list, ship, and sell
Yes.
that one item as it does a $1 item. So I'm really interested to see if Whatnot ever gets to the point where they're doing high ticket items. Like if there's somebody on there selling $200 drones at a decent price, like if it ever got there.
Oh, I think
things are a little different.
It depends on what, who you're following. Yes, there are people that sell big ticket items.
I know on the card market, there's some crazy stuff on there.
Yeah. And you do, there's a buyer for everything out there. And some of those bigger, high ticket items that do sell on there, again, it's that instant gratification of,
yep.
Boom, I was on there, they had it, I made my decision, boom, I bought that item right then. So yeah, it's not all, again, and I think Whatnot does have that mystique of, I'm in no way pitching Whatnot, I have no interest. They don't do anything for me. I haven't even done my first show yet. I'm just intrigued I think it just looks fun. I
think you're going to love the social aspect of it.
Yeah.
I do.
And if I can do that, if I can have that release of trying to be, entertaining and sell. So, and if I can make a few bucks in the meantime, and as I get out into the garage sale season this year and have that mindset of I'm sourcing for this, but I'm also working in that same direction on my eBay side. Like you were saying, I am going to be focusing more on high, paying up a little more for things, for bigger items that sell for more, so I can do less work, like you say, and make the same or make more money, where you can list that one thing for $500 rather than $500 $1 items.
I think you're really going to enjoy Whatnot, I do think there is there's a pretty good divide of like two types of people basically in reselling that you see, and in life really in general, is you've got those people that are the seasonal Santas that will put on a white beard and go out there. And then you have the people that will walk to the other side of the road to avoid that crazy ass Santa.
Yeah.
So there's definitely two different types of selling and platforms. And I think Whatnot fills a gap that, most reselling is kind of set up for the introvert right now.
Yes.
So Whatnot is kind of the opposite of that, which is, there's nothing wrong with that. I think it's kind of cool to see. And I think some people get a lot of enjoyment out of that. Yeah. The extrovert crowd will definitely thrive over there.
Yeah. And of course, now Whatnot, they're taking anybody. I filled out my application again, submitted it. As soon as I submitted it, it was like these like little confetti thing with congratulations, you're now ready to sell. And then you had to do your onboarding process, and I did that. So this week I've been
jumped into some different stuff too. I did something that I didn't think I would ever do in reselling this week. Well, we did two things actually.
Yes.
So we are now officially on Bonanza. And we're expecting big things.
With Haas and Little Joe and
yes, they're relaunching the television series.
Oh, I thought you were
and I'm going to play one of the donkeys.
Binge watching on like Netflix or something. So yeah, the Bonanza platform. I've heard about that. I've never been on Bonanza. I have no clue. I know it's a selling platform.
Yeah.
So you listed on Bonanza.
What sent us down that road is when we did the Planes to Profit event, one of our speakers and sponsors was Vendu.
Okay.
So they've actually reached out and asked me if I would consider being kind of an advocate for their brand, if I wanted to be an affiliate type thing, which is, we're not yet. We don't have a link. We don't do anything with Vendo, but we said if we're going to do it, we need to try it.
Yes.
And we have always been the one that we don't have the bandwidth to be cross-listing. We're not good enough at eBay to be cross-listing yet. Like there's so much more optimization we could do on eBay. So we haven't done it up to this point.
Yes.
But with that being in the air, we decided we'd go ahead and try it. We got like a 90-day free trial to try it out. So we figured we'd get on there and we'd try it. So getting into cross-listing and playing around with Vendo a little bit got us looking at cross-listing in general. And the easiest place to cross-list is Bonanza, because you sign up for an account and hit a button and it's done. Like it syncs with eBay 100%. So
okay.
As soon as you sign up for your account and complete your registration, it does a full sync both ways with eBay. So all of your products are just there.
Okay. Well, that's
so
cool.
We figured that one's painless. It doesn't cost anything. It's free to us. The fees are less than eBay. And if we make 1 or 2 sales a month, great. So it really is. It didn't cost any extra effort or just any extra money.
Yeah, another place to get eyes on your products and stuff. Now, see, I'm intrigued by the cross posting or the cross listing. Again, what both of us have always just been eBay, and that's one of the things with the whatnot is to have another platform. So you're trying out Vendoo right now. Have you cross listed to anything, any other platforms?
We're doing it. Well, we wanted to do it to Etsy. That's one of the main platforms we wanted to go to because we have a lot of vintage stuff that would do well on Etsy.
Okay.
But they don't auto delist from Etsy. That like Vendoo doesn't have that in their platform. So there's no auto delist. So we took that off the list because the last thing we're trying to do is create work for ourselves.
Yes.
So we took that off the list. We decided we would start with Mercari and cross list there first. Okay. So we've been doing that with Vendoo, and there's been some hiccups. I'm not sold yet. I could tell you that. Like the app right now, probably 8 out of 10 products we try to cross list through the phone app fail.
Okay.
They just error out.
Really?
They won't cross list.
Okay.
And if we switch to the web app, the actual website, we could do it through there, which is great. I mean, they do have a good website version of that. As long as you download the Chrome extension, everything seems to work fine over there.
Gotcha.
We haven't run into much in terms of problems with the web app so much. Just with the phone app. So, okay. But there's been a few other hiccups too. I mean,
yeah, because I see all of those, there's always that battle raging. Oh, Vendoo's the best. Oh, List Perfectly's the best. There's all of those things. So you just started that this week, and did you got stuff off the Bonanza? Did you sell anything on Bonanza yet?
No. We haven't sold anything yet. And I think it's going to take us a while. There's 2 things right now that I'm struggling with on Vendoo. One is on the current plan we're on, which is like the 3rd one up. We only get like 250 items a month that we can import from eBay into Vendoo, or that you can add to Vendoo, period. Okay. And then you could do whatever you want with them. And we hit that 250 in the first 10 minutes. Like we went to import from eBay, we grabbed the first 250 items, and then we were done for a month. You can't do anything else. Which we thought was going to be a huge bottleneck until we figured out that we couldn't sit on our couch and use our phone app to cross list while we were watching TV or something because the phone app doesn't work.
Yeah,
so you have 250 items you have to cross list, and you actually have to touch each one individually. You can't. It's not like Bonanza where it just syncs. Okay. So you have to go in and touch every single product, and you have to double check your category and your shipping and your, what else is there? Shipping and the label and a few other things.
So at that point, it would be just as easy to go over on Mercari and list the whole thing yourself, or whatever other platform that didn't automatically.
No, it's still 100%. I mean, it saves you a ton of time. Like it takes all the pictures and your description and things and your title and things like that and pulls them over. So it is going to save a ton of time.
Yes.
But it is not it is not what we've imagined it to be. It's not a sync where you go hit a button and okay, now I can just push everything over. Like you actually have to go in and physically touch every item. Which
it does seem like that when you watch, any of these platforms that are the cross-listing platforms. When you see people pitching that,
sounds
it's like,
a lot more.
You just click this button and now you're listed everywhere. So that's
I'll be interested a lot more magical than it is.
Are you going to be reviewing that and showing those things on, like, say, your Grams of Pops channel?
We're thinking about the last thing I want to do is come on and beat up a piece of software, especially after they sponsored us and stuff. But I also don't want to skew our opinion based on the fact that we're being given a check. So if we're going to do it, we're going to just do just an open, honest, here's what it actually is. And so far, here's what it is. And the only criticism I would have right now, other than the app not working, I think the only real criticism I would have right now is when we reported the problems with the app, the answer we got back was basically saying it's actually Mercari's fault. It's not us, it's Mercari.
Okay.
Which from a business standpoint, that's not the answer I want to hear from another business ever. Like, we're working on it, whatever the case, but to pin it on the other company, that's probably not the best answer. But really, that's the only negative thing we've had other than the app not working. I think that app is super important to us because I'm not going to sit with a computer all the time. Yeah. And if you have to do a physical touch to every item to list it, I think that app is necessary. So saying you're the only one with an app, basically, I mean, that's kind of their big thing right now is we're the only one with an app.
Yeah.
Great.
Well,
it doesn't work.
So did you get your 250 listings done to like Mercari? So you said Mercari, you did Bonanza.
Yeah, we got 52 done so far.
Is that 250 that you get, is that per platform or just total? So like if you listed 250 straight over to Bonanza, you're done. You can't list anything else on Mercari or Poshmark or Etsy or anything else.
That's to import. So whatever your main platform is, ours is eBay.
Okay.
It'll let you import 250 items. Once you have those 250 items within Vendoo, you can list them up to 10 different platforms. You do whatever you want with them. It only lets you bring in that much.
Is that,
they do have bigger plans. Like you could get more than 250.
Yeah.
But after that, it starts getting exponentially more expensive. Like you're going to spend quite a bit of money after that. That's like the $30 a month plan gets you like 30 or $40 gets you 250 items. I'd have to look to be sure on that, but
yeah,
past that, if you're going to pay 80, 90, $100 and up,
you have to be moving.
It'll start getting prohibitive after that.
If you're not moving products, I guess if you were getting a ton more sales over, say, on one of the other platforms, Mercari, for example, that made it worth it. But I guess to make the sales just to pay the bill for the software is really not. I guess that's not a good trade-off. You'd have to pay for it.
We struggle with that too.
And
that would have to be something we'd look at because I don't care about making more sales. More sales doesn't mean anything. We care about making more profit. And if we make 3 more sales a week, but our profit stays the same, well, that's just more work. That's not more money.
Yeah, exactly.
So we're looking for actual bottom line revenue or bottom line profit. And we don't know yet because we've only got 51 items, I think, on Mercari now. But we're every day when I have spare time, I go to the computer because I have to be at the computer. Yeah. And I list a few. It takes me just a couple of minutes per item. So it is fairly quick. Like I do like the app or the web app. I really like how it's set up. Yeah. It's just not what we were expecting, but it is pretty smooth. It's a nice process. I just wish I could do it from my phone.
Yeah, that's I'll thank you for being like my guinea pig anyway and checking stuff out because I've been looking into doing some cross listing, just kind of broadening my horizons or just getting out there, having some backups for just having everything in eBay's basket. And
so if I could try it, you guys could try it. Because I've been anti-cross listing. Well, not anti-cross listing. I've been very hesitant to cross list for a long time. So, and it really isn't taking me. It took me a couple of hours to get 100% set up. That's create the Mercari account, create the Vendoo account, import my initial items, figure out how to actually use it. It took just a couple of hours, and then now it's just whenever I have spare time. A couple minutes per product.
Well, I'll be interested, to hear how that goes for you, just so I know if it's an avenue that I want to go down. I know that cross listing is an avenue that I want to go down, but I'm not sure whether that's using an app, using somebody's software, or if that's just doing it by hand. I know that's always an argument.
Well, and our big objection has always been I can't do it if it's going to cost me more time.
Yes,
that's always been our objection. Like we need the time we have now to get better at eBay.
Yes,
but other than a few hours you spend during setup, it's not costing a lot of time and effort. So far, that part of it, they've kind of overcome that objection for us. If everything else goes good and we start making enough sales to justify the cost and our profit goes up, then I would say they have a new customer. But we don't know yet. Like, we're not there yet.
Ah, very cool. So you had said two interesting things happened. Was that both of them, or was it you started selling? Oh, that was two. You started selling on Bonanza and a vendor, or was something else happen? Anything else happen?
I started cross-listing on Mercari. Well, something else did happen. My house smells like a 3-day-old can of tuna right now. We could talk about that.
Oh man. I'm gonna reserve my childish thoughts. Cory, let me ask you this.
Yes, Ken.
Why does your house smell like a 3-day-old can of tuna?
Have you ever heard of Snack Crate?
Snack Crate.
Yeah.
I have not, but I assume it's like a mail
subscription
order
service.
Crate?
Like,
okay.
You've heard of BarkBox, right?
Yeah, for dogs.
They send you dog toys every month.
Yes.
Well, they have one that's called Snack Crate. And they send you treats every month from different countries around the world.
Okay.
And you can try them out. My youngest and Teresa have done that for about the last year and a half. They have one come every month. Yesterday, one came in the mail, and they decided, because Hannah's here working over the weekend, that they would sit down and try it. It's from Vietnam. And I don't know how that country hasn't starved to death yet. Like, why are they even still alive with the food they eat?
Okay.
Because they opened a bag of chips, and it was crab and egg sauce flavored chips. That's the name of it. Crab and egg sauce.
Like potato chips? Like if you were to get a barbecue or sour cream and onion, it was crab and
egg sauce. I can't. And it smells like tuna that has gone bad. And it doesn't go away. It hangs in the air. Like it's like a fog.
Did anybody try them? I mean, you open the bag and
they try everything. They try everything.
Punched in the face with that smell. And so what was the verdict on the taste test?
Well, there's a lot of the bag still there, so I'm guessing it was not a favorable position on that. They do try everything though, gross or not. They try everything, and they fill out the little sheet what they liked and disliked. I mean, it's a whole thing they do every month.
Okay.
But then I don't try that. Like, I'm not an adventurous eater. I don't get into that. But the smell last night, it's usually not like that.
Yeah.
Like this one was funky.
Was potent, if you will.
It's still funny. I could still smell it this morning when I got up. And they threw the bag away. It's in the garbage can with a lid. I still smell that stuff. So I'm gonna have to take the garbage out today.
Yeah, no kidding. That's
surprised I don't have cats trying to claw their way in. I was
gonna say, make sure you close up that bag or put it in a can or something. You're gonna have all the stray farm cats are going to be attacking your
I don't know what you guys are eating in Vietnam, but somebody needs to build a McDonald's over there or something.
We love all of our Vietnamese viewers. I don't even know. I haven't even looked. Do we have any Vietnamese viewers or whatever that are
not
out
anymore.
Of country? Not anymore. Yeah. Thanks, Cory. You just
we've insulted their favorite potato chip.
That whole demographic for us. We're done. But so here was something cool. That's so I was talking the other day. I was talking about how I had not labeled my packages that one day. Oh, so follow up on it. Wait, where's the story? So, it was the day I was doing my Whatnot onboarding, and I had taken the packages over that morning. That was kind of what had me distracted, and I was able to, or I sat down at my computer and I called up my eBay, and it said I had 2 sales. Because I only had 2 packages. I said I had 2 sales. I was like, oh, how did I miss these cha-chings? And I go and I look at the items, and it says that in there that I have 2 items to ship, and they're the same 2 items that I already shipped. I'm like, how is that? And so I got to thinking about it, and it's like, oh no, I don't think I labeled those items. And I'm sitting here at my computer because I came in to sit down, and you like schedule your onboarding thing. And so like mine was at 2:00, and it's like, I don't know what to do. So I called the place real quick, and I said, hey, postal lady, where's are my packages that I dropped off? Are they still there? Do they have one? She pulled them for me. I said, okay, I can't come over for about an hour. And I do that. So crisis averted there. I was able to retrieve the packages. I
have to love small town drop-offs.
Oh yeah.
If that happened in a bigger town, you'd have been in trouble.
Or if they would have picked it up, if the postal carrier would have picked up already. But that kind of brings me up to my other story here. So the next day I go over to the postal store to take in packages. And of course now, Krista, that's my postal lady. She's like, oh, do you have these labeled? Do you have them labeled today? And there was another customer that was standing there at like they have this like little island in the middle of the thing before you get up where people can work on packages. And this lady was, just standing there talking with her. And so she was giving me grief. Krista was giving me grief about whether my packages were labeled. So I turned to the other customer that was standing there. I had no clue who she was. And I was like, yeah, I pulled a bonehead rookie move yesterday. I didn't label my packages, but these are all good. And so I'm kind of getting ready to walk out the door. And just because this is the type of guy that I am, I turn around to that lady that is standing there and I say, oh, hey, I've been meaning to ask you something for a while. She just kind of looks like surprised, like, what? And I said, what are your thoughts on Tony Orlando and Dawn? And
what?
So random. And she goes, oh, and she's kind of a little bit of a timid lady. She's like, oh, I always liked Tony Orlando and Dawn. I was like, oh, perfect. See, there's another one. There's another one of it. Yes.
I have questions.
Yes.
Who's Tony Orlando and Dawn?
Didn't we go over that last week? They were like from the 70s. Tony Orlando was a singer and Dawn was like his backup group. Well, the group was originally just called Dawn. And then it got to be Tony Orlando was the main singer there. So Tony Orlando and Dawn was his backup singers. And yes, Cory.
Does anyone else know of this band, or is this just a...
Yeah, everybody.
Did you make this up?
No, Taya, you've heard Taya Yellow Ribbon. Taya Yellow Ribbon.
Oh, we did talk about that last... Old man memory. Okay.
Yeah, Candida Knock 3 times. Yeah, we talked about that. So
I'm
all of that
horrible
was
with
still in
names.
my... So I asked this lady just randomly about this. She's like, yeah. So now I'm getting ready to leave after I kind of made all over that. Chris is like, oh, you didn't even ask my opinion. I was like, oh, okay. What's your thoughts on Tony Orlando and Dawn? She's like, well, I don't really have an opinion. I don't know, who they are. I never listened to them that much. She knew who they were, but didn't listen. It's like, well, see, that's why I didn't ask you your opinion. You didn't look like somebody that would know who that was.
I feel like that's a pretty mainstream answer right there.
Probably. Yeah. Maybe I have to do a study, a scientific study. I'll just walk around and randomly ask people.
I think we need to put in some intro music. We'll use their music for intro music. At this point, it's got to be royalty free. It's like 800 years old.
You would think. Well, yeah, we'll have to look into that. See if that, and it's not like we're monetized anyway, so we can play whatever we want. So this other lady was standing there, and because I was making over that I didn't care about Chris's opinion or whatever, and so the lady says, "Well, why did you ask me?" And I was like, oh, I don't know you. I don't know you from anybody. Sometimes you just strike up a conversation with a random person and that's how, whatever. She's
no,
like,
you don't.
Well,
no, you don't, Ken. No, yeah, people don't.
That they do. That's how I'm a social, I'm a friendly guy. I'm always going to include everybody in the room.
This is one of those extrovert things that introverts like me have never heard of before, isn't it?
It is. You
guys got your own set of rules.
You put yourself out there and you have fun. You bring, this lady, was just kind of standing there at the counter, and I'm big and boisterous in any situation. So I drag her in with that silly question. She said, "Why did you ask me?" I said, "Oh, I don't know you from anybody. Just figured I'd ask." And she says, "Well, I know who you are." I'm like,
"Oh, creepy."
Really? And so I'm intrigued. I said, "Really?" She's like, "Yeah, you're SSKPromo." And I'm like,
a viewer.
What? And she's like, "Yeah, I watch your show. I watch your podcast thing that you do. I know who you are. I know all about you." She's like, and she spouted off a few things. She was like, "Oh yeah, like I was watching when you helped your one friend move here from Denver, to Ohio and stuff." She'd been talking, about Jimmy, and then a couple of I was like, "Oh, that's cool." And I just so happened in the jacket I had to have some sticker packs with me of my stickers, and so I was able to give her some stickers, which she was super excited about. Shout out to Diet. Her name is Diet, if she's watching this episode. And it was and so then we started to talk, a little bit. I was like, what do you think? What do you think of the show with Cory? Just kind of asking, and she's like, well, I don't know who Cory is. And
that's also a pretty mainstream answer.
She hadn't watched for a while. She's like, well, I try to watch everybody. There's just so much to watch. And I said, well, who do you normally watch? And she's like, well, I like Shed Flips. She watches, Lonnie Kenn's. She's like Shed Flips, Philly Flipper. I watch Commonwealth Picker, ADH Dave. And then she kind of put her head down a little bit, and she said, and Death Pile Picker. And
poor Mike.
She shied away. I was like, oh yeah, Mike. I love Mike. Death Pile Picker. He's one of my favorites. But I just thought it was funny that she kind of almost like she was embarrassed that she was watching Death Pile Picker. So then we just had a really good conversation about reselling, which we totally lost Krista. She's like, I have no clue what you guys are talking about, because we're talking about, this gal sources a lot of stuff from like high bid auctions and stuff, online auctions.
Teresa was doing that last night.
Yeah, I
was trying to stop her from doing it. Like Teresa is side story. Teresa's not great with auctions because Teresa cannot handle being not the winner.
Yeah.
So she has a tendency to overbid because she does not like it. Like, I think they do it on purpose. Like, it's a psychological thing on the screen. They're like, you lost. And Teresa's like, oh no, I didn't. And she'll start typing in bigger numbers.
Well, which is, that whole whatnot mentality too, for the buyers. It's that instant thing of winning. Again, we need to throw up the hashtag Jill down here at the bottom of the screen, because she is the same way as Teresa. But it was just a fun, cool experience to see somebody out, in the wild and get recognized for something that that I've been doing. And we had a good conversation about reselling and stuff, kind of in our area here. And she in my sticker pack has like a business card sort of thing in it as well that has my name on it. And so she sees my name and she's like, oh, Ken Bill. And then she goes, are you a relation to, this other person that lives over in the town? She's from a kind of a neighboring town. That's like, oh yeah, that's their relation to me. We're kind of, distant relation, but there's not, Bill was not a common last name. And
no.
So then we kind of had that tie. Wild Bill. Dollar Bill. I wish I was more related.
His last name.
Hickok is his last name. Wild Bill Hickok. And I wish I was more related to Dollar Bill, or that we had a closer relationship. Let's just say that.
Yeah, me too. Mine's more like electric bill, rent bill.
So I had fun talking to her. And so at the end, because her name Diet is kind of an uncommon name. So I asked her again at the end of the conversation. I said, okay, what's your name again? Because she told me, she sees me out at, like, she'll see me at the thrift store. She sees me at yard sales and stuff. I was like, man, you should come up. You should have said something, up to this point. But not everybody's as outgoing as other people. So I was like, okay, what's your name again? So that
gives you that
I
impression,
see you,
Ken? That's not like an attack.
On what? On her or on
me?
Well, sometimes you have to call them like you see them. But I said, what's your name again? So when I see you out at the sales, I can say, hey, what's your name again? And but
that's
super
an easy
nice
one
lady.
for me to remember. I went to school with a Diet, so.
Oh, really? That's kind of the first that.
It is kind of an uncommon name. We only had like 700 people in the whole town where I grew up, and one of them was a Diet. So.
Well, there you go. Maybe I doubt it was this gal, but you never know. Maybe they're related.
Yes and not.
Like I was related.
Is she about our age?
Yeah. Look to be for sure.
Could be her. It might just be that one Diet roaming around.
Anytime I can talk reselling too with folks, especially out,
Yes.
and about, to have somebody that was like-minded, and did a different avenue.
I don't know how I didn't think of this during this story, but we met another reseller couple yesterday too, just yesterday.
Oh, really?
There was a garage sales. There's a new thrift store in town, just a tiny little thrift store. And we're like, okay, it's a boutique. They're going to be high priced.
Yeah.
And so we kept driving by saying we should go stop and see at least. And we did. And they weren't high priced. And they're an actual reseller couple that does estate sale cleanouts and buyouts.
Oh,
and
okay.
Super nice couple. So we got to talk to them for like half an hour yesterday. So yeah, it's always cool to meet somebody else. They sell all locally. They have a few items on eBay, but they've never had much luck with eBay. So we got to look at reselling from a whole different angle.
Okay, so they're not content creators at all? Just other resellers?
Just resellers.
Yeah, it's always cool to talk to somebody and especially somebody right in your own area that is doing something different. They're sourcing different. They're selling different. They're
doing everything different.
They have a different business model, and it kind of makes you go, makes you think about stuff. Because this gal that I talked to does mostly all of her sourcing through auctions, either live auctions that are around town or online auctions. She's not a big fan of the thrift store. She will go to some garage sales and stuff, but I think she prefers that. More of just being behind the scenes, not having to be out there in public.
These guys have been in this area for about 3 years now, and it sounds like they have people actually call them pretty often saying, we don't want to have an estate sale. Come make us an offer on the whole estate.
Oh, okay.
So they take trailers up there and they make an offer and they buy out the whole estate before the estate sale. They don't even let the estate sale happen.
So that's a way to do it.
And they have people just contacting them. So they've done in 3 years, they must have done a phenomenal job of networking.
Yes.
Man, so one of them must be an extrovert.
Yes.
At least one of them.
See, I should be bigger than I am, Cory. I say that every day. But see, just like that, there's so many ways to do this business. Reselling business. I mean, so many different avenues to go down, so many ways to get your stuff out there, whether, eBay or cross-listing on, Vendoo and multiple platforms, whatnot. And like these folks opened up their own like brick and mortar store to sell.
It's basically just a permanent garage sale is how they've put it up. Like they have to turn product. Like they're buying these massive estate sales.
Yeah.
They can't sit on it. So they're not boutique pricing. It's just a garage sale that never closes. So it's kind of cool. Like there's stuff in there we thought about buying.
I love that. I love that idea. And it's like every time I hear about somebody doing something new or something different, it's like, oh, I want to do that too. I want to go buy a whole estate sale.
Shiny
I
rock.
want to go buy, yeah, exactly. And then I just end up going out, into the garage and schlubbing through all of these same boxes of crap that I've had forever, trying to get them listed. And
sometimes you might just need to do a reset. Just put all your inventory on the driveway and have a garage sale and just reset.
Yes.
I think sometimes just clearing that inventory might be very freeing and just start over.
It is a plan. I am thinking, here this early spring of doing a yard sale. Plus Jill, she's been working in her basement to just really clean out, because it is out of hand. And number one, the stuff that she's finding is just very, very cool as far as listable stuff for, eBay or something like that. But just the massive garage sale that we're probably going to end up having with just all of the stuff that you don't want to list or there's just too much, and just
whatever doesn't sell,
money.
you could just sell right back to her on Whatnot.
Yeah, exactly. She'll fill up her basement.
You do it all again next year.
I think I used to have one of these. Yeah, you did.
I had one just like this.
You had it since 1984. You got rid of it.
Still has your name on the tag.
So, anyway, interesting week. We made it through the time change, Cory. Now we got an extra hour left in our day to do something.
I don't know about that.
I don't know what that's going to be.
Today's always the roughest day of the time change. So I'm sure we'll be super tired today, but
see what.
Yep, we're here and we're in it now. So yay for the extra hour.
We're going. I got to go next. So I'm getting a haircut today. Even though I'm going, probably that one right. Even though I think I'm growing hair back on top of my head. I think I talked that before. So, I'll have to talk to my sister and say, man, don't cut off my new growth. But,
well, just like with your eBay store, if you start now while it's small, you can inventory them. So you can start doing an inventory up there, and then you'll know. Get them labeled.
I will know. And then I can cross-list them onto, well, I don't know. That's just silliness. Yeah, go outside. It's cold. I didn't get that chance to make Kane complains about winter. Oh, I'd like to be most of my family, my brother, nieces, and nephews, and great nieces, they're all heading to Disney today. Like this afternoon, their flight takes off and they're going down to Disney for a week. So temperatures
Did they lose a bet?
Mid to high 80s. They did not. They actually have been, well, my brother and then like his family, daughter and grandkids, they've been, 3 or 4 times. And then they're taking my other niece and nephew, my other nephew and his wife are going with them. And that's their first trip to Disney. And so anyway,
it's like talking to somebody from a different planet sometimes. I don't understand. I would never I take that back. If I was going to go do something like that one time, I would probably go to like Universal Studios. It would never be Disney.
Yeah.
And just the crowds of people, the idea of it, the thought of it, like going to the state fair in South Dakota makes me anxious. I don't like it. We've done it like 5 times in my life. People confuse me.
Yeah, I don't mind that. I haven't been to Disney myself, but I look forward to the street festivals and fairs and stuff. I don't usually go to the county fair. I know
Teresa's the same way. She went to Disney. We went to visit my brother once, and they lived just 15 miles from Disney at one point. So we were right there. Teresa took the kids and went to Disney. And that ain't me. I ain't going there. Not.
Cory, you're showing your curmudgeonness.
I know, but I don't mind.
Every week we find out, how different, that
some people say it's curmudgeon-y. Some people just got to find their happiness in different ways. Introverts have no business being at Disney. That's hell on earth.
This is true. And I'm there like, man, can I get one of them costumes? Can I walk around and be, hey kids?
Now, if they could close the park and just have the people that work there so that I could come in and do everything and sample the food, like that would be amazing if they would just get rid of all those other customers.
Well, if you work hard enough, I have seen people where, sometimes these big super mega stars, that can just rent out the park and have them.
That sounds like a good reseller event. If it's just like 100 resellers.
I think that was
those are your people.
I think they tried that
to rent out a Disney?
No, not to rent it out, to have a
yeah, I don't think there's a reseller event big enough for that yet.
We're going to end it right there, Cory. We'll catch you next time on the Reseller Clickbait Podcast.